Assalamualaikum. So good morning and welcome to each one of you. So I am Brother Joe Alferez, a member of the Discalced Carmelite Secular, and I'll be your facilitator for this topic regarding anger management. So what about anger? Anger is said is a basic human emotions that is experienced by all people, typically triggered by the emotional hurt. Then anger usually experienced as an unpleasant feeling that occurs when we think we have been injured, mistreated, opposed in our long-held views, or when we are faced with obstacles that keep us from attaining personal goals. I think all of us, all of you experience the so-called anger in your own life since when you were still young until today that you are a trainee in the police officers or you are a police officers. Another one, anger is completely normal, usually healthy, human emotions, but when it gets out of control and turns destructive, it can lead its problem at work, in your own personal relationship, and in all over quality of your life. And it can make you feel as though you are the mercy of an unpredictable and powerful emotions. This brochure is meant to help you understand and control anger. So it's just normal na magalit ka. But if it is out of control, so there is a big problem. So that's why this topic, I hope you will learn how to control or manage your anger. Then we move on. What about the causes of the so-called anger? Anger can be caused by both external and internal events. You could be angry at a specific person, such as maybe your colleague, your coworker, your boss, maybe with your experience when you were still outside. Then maybe you are angry with a traffic jam, canceled flight, or your anger could be caused by worrying or brooding about your personal problems. Memories of traumatic or engaging events can also trigger angry feelings. So, internal, external. This is the cause of the problem that we mentioned, especially to the examples. Next, how does the body react to anger? Anger does not make the blood boil or your eyes see red, but it does cause certain changes in your body. Ganito yung mangyari. Your adrenaline and other chemicals pour out into your bloodstream. So this is a scientific study. Then the heart pumps faster, blood pressure rises, blood flow quickens, and muscle tense. So in other words, the body shifts into higher gear, generating energy needed for action. Then learn how this energy can work to your advantage or disadvantage. So it's up to you. You know already that your body, galit ka, the pump, maybe you had experienced that one. Your blood pressure, maybe kumukulo yung dugo mo. I'm sure of that. Pag hindi mo yun makontrol, you will create a big problem. Okay? Sabi din dyan, your adrenaline and other chemicals pour out on your blood streams. So yun, talagang umiinit ka, minsan ang pag-iisip mo, dugo mo, ayan. Okay? We move on. Danger. Failing to deal with your anger may lead, first is the health problems. Kaya ang daming nagkakasakit, yung hindi marunong mag-control ng problem. And that's proven. Then second, tension. Then there are times, because of anger, you'll meet an accident. Then maaring interpersonal problem. That's why in your family, with your experience, kahit nagalit ka sa ibang tao, then it would result, minsan mabuntungan mo yung family member. Siguro na-experience din ninyo yan. Then uncontrolled anger can be dangerous. So, alam natin yon. If you cannot control your anger, very, very dangerous. And it may lead to crime. Kapatay ka. Abuse, then more violent behavior. But minsan, if you notice, I don't know kung ganon yung tao, galit, pag maraming nakikinig, mas lalong nagagalit. Hindi ko maintindihan. Siguro nasaksihan din niyan. Or maaring ikaw yon. Okay? Then, to the point, I think there are a lot of examples. Maybe, kahit na police officers, magka-problema din. Hindi na control anger, boom! Binaril ang kasama. Dahil sa galit. So, that's the problem now. Very dangerous, the so-called anger, if you cannot manage or control. Remember that. Another thing. Anger is also important to understand anger because the way you express it can be helpful. Tingnan nyo ha. Makakatulong daw. Venting anger can get fired up so you can overcome obstacles and achieve goals. So nakakatulong din pala. Alam mo, galit na galit ka, ay buhos mo na lang dito. Gawa ka ng, kung halimbawa may project ka siguro, ala, because of the adrenaline, ang bilis mong magtrabaho. So, that can be helpful. Then, on the other side, it can also be harmful. When you ignore anger or express it in a negative way, it can hurt you or to others. So, we mentioned kanina, maaaring magresulta sa krimen. Violent. So, yun. So, there's positive thing na naibibigay yung galit. There's also a negative thing. But the negative thing, yun yung dapat i-avoid natin. Okay. Next. How does anger affect relationship? And I think with this question, you can answer that one. Okay? Then, sabi dito, anger can result a domestic violence. A domestic violence, ito yung nangyayari sa bahay. Okay? And I don't know, when you're still young, nag-away si nanay, si tatay, I don't know kung nagsakitan ba, hindi na-control yung anger. Okay? Then people who are around the angry person tend to shut down in order not to anger that person. Ayan. Then others get their feelings hurt. Then other people also become defiant, become indifferent, then avoid you or lose respect for the angry person. Ayan. Minsan mawala ka talaga ng respeto. Kaya nga minsan itong galit na ito, talagang iba ang dating kapag hindi mo nakokontrol. Ha, tandaan niyo yan, my dear police officers. May mga myth or mito sa tinatawag nating galit. Una, na paniwala, anger is inherited. I don't know if you would agree with that. Is it inherited? Mana-mana daw. Kaya nga, this is a myth. But, based siguro from your experience, kung palagi kang, when you were still young, bugbog ka sa galit, palagi mong narinig sa pamilya yung galit, I don't know kung mamamana yun. Okay, that's why that's a myth. Second, anger automatically leads to aggression. That's still a myth. It will lead to aggression kung walang control, kung hindi na ma-manage. Another myth, people must be aggressive to get what they want. kung galit sila. And I don't know, kasi a myth nga. Then, suppressing anger is always desirable. That's another myth. If it is a myth, hindi natin maaaring hindi paniwalaan. Pero yung iba dito, kung napansin nyo, medyo may katotohanan din. Okay? Pero but it remains a myth. Okay? Take note on that. Then, knows the difference between anger and aggression. Okay. What about anger? Anger is an emotion. It's okay to be angry. Okay? It's normal. It's natural na magalit ka or galit ka. Pero kailangan lang makontrol. Then what about aggression? Aggression is acting out inappropriately and it's not okay. Ayan na yun. Nananakit ka, nananambal ka, nagagalit ka. So, hindi na yun okay. Kaya nga aggression is the result of excited emotional state of anger and frustration. So remember, once again, anger is an emotion, nangyayari, natural lang. It's okay na magalit ka. Kasi may iba namang mga tao, sobrang bait yan, hindi talaga nagagalit yan. And I don't also believe that logic na yung tao hindi nagagalit. Baka robot yung taong yon. Ang maari siguro, hindi niya na-express. Danger there, pag hindi mo na-express, ayan, malaki din yan. Babalik yan sa'yo. Puputok din yan. Pag galit ka, just express. But you have to manage, you have to control. But please avoid the so-called aggression. That's not okay. That's violence. Okay? There are ABCs of anger. Take note on this. A, antecedent or anger trigger. Anger trigger. What stimulates the anger response? Bakit nagalit ka? Remember in your psychology, the stimulus-response relationship? But there are times, kita mo lang yung tao na wala namang ginagawa, nagagalit ka rin. And I don't know, bakit ganon? Then, letter B is behavior. Reaction provoked by anger. Okay, nasa behavior ng tao. Pag galit agad. Pag may maririnig, galit agad. Then how much more kung nasasaktan physically, okay, emotionally. The next ABC of anger is consequence. What happened as a result of controlling or not controlling one's anger? So, you have to take the consequence. If you'll be able to control, well and good. But if not, take the consequence. Take note. Take the consequence. And whatever will be the consequence, depende yan. Kung because of anger, hindi mo nakontrol sarili, nakapatay ka, take the consequence. So therefore, if you're a police officer, tanggal ka, bilanggo ka. Diba? So therefore, kailangan i-manage itong anger na yan. Though it's natural, though it's normal, but there is a need to control, to manage, to discipline. Okay. Next. Why do you get angry? First, when you are frustrated, things not happening as we want or people not behaving the way we think they should. Frustrated. Nangligaw ka na ba? Hindi ka sinagot? Nagagalit ka? May iba, galit. May mga duwag din na mga lalaki. Ito naman si babae, may mga police officers, mga babae, nagpaasa din. So, nagagalit si lalaki. Stimulus-response relationship. Kaya frustrated, kaya nga, nagagalit ka. Next, another reason. Misunderstanding between people. Ayan. I think that's self-explanatory. Usap kayo, bright kayo, hindi kayo nagkakasundo, kanya-kanyang ideya, nag-misunderstand, therefore, resulta, conflict, dahil doon, then galit, maring, hindi makontrol, magkasakitan. Okay? Next, the result of poor communication. So, ito yon ha? Karamihan. The result of poor communication. Kaya nga, minsan, sa mga memo, especially in your organization, dapat malinaw yan. Kasi pag hindi malinaw yan, tapos na-punish ka, malaking problema yon. Even the instruction, dapat malinaw yon. Okay? Kasi pag hindi malinaw yon, it will result to the so-called bakit nagagalit ka. Then, and are you able to achieve or are unable to achieve goals or desires? May mga ganun yan. Kaya ko man sana yun. Pero anong nangyari? Di ba? So, galit ka. Maring galit ka sa sarili. Okay? Kasalanan ko, hindi ako nag-aral. Okay? Next, feels inadequate or not respected or being treated unfairly. Ayun, talagang magagalit ka doon. Okay? Especially nakita mo, oy, very unfair on my part. Bakit siya lang pinakinggan, ako wala? Galit na galit ka. So that's the reason why do we get angry. Okay? Then, what can make people angry? So there are a lot na nakasulat dito. The grief and the rest, pain, the injustice, physical stress, mental stress, then the rest. Ang dami-daming binigay. Bakit nagagalit daw ang tao? Okay? Ang dami-daming binigay. Bakit nagagalit tayo? So we move on. There are three main types of anger. The covert, volatile, and chronic. So under covert, anger avoidance, sneaky anger, paranoid anger. Under volatile, sudden anger, shame-based anger, and deliberate anger. Then on the third main type is the chronic, which is the habitual anger. So what about this anger avoidance? Take note. Anger avoidance is afraid of anger. May mga taong ganyan, sinabi ko kanina. Then avoid anger or think the issue regarding anger. Not being assertive, allow other people to infringe on their rights. Feels weak, powerless, incapable, or low self-esteem. So yun, you avoid anger. Hindi na ako nagagalit. Kaya nga minsan yung iba, Diyos na bahala. Sinosuppress. Okay, nandyan. Maaring ayaw masaktan yung iba. Sarili na lang gustong masaktan. Okay? What about sneaky anger? Ito. Hide their anger. Dati is avoid. Ito naman, the sneaky is hide the anger. Instead, they will engage in covert matters such as not obeying instruction, delaying their tasks or procrastination, excuse themselves by claiming they forgot about the deadlines. So yan, tinatago. Okay? Then, they do not confront a person or a situation. So, we call that a sneaky anger. Next, ito, paranoid. From the term itself, alam natin yan. Paranoid anger. The person feels irrational way of being intimidated by others. Irrational. Hindi na nag-isip. Okay? By being intimidated by others. Then, feels or thinks that others are taking what is rightfully theirs. So, yan ang problema. Paranoid na masyado. Kaya magsabi, paranoid tong taong ito. Then, this is due to maaring jealousy. Then, maaring insecure ka or ang tao. Then, maaring possessive. And of course, yung sinasabi natin, you are paranoid. So that's what we call paranoid anger. Next, what about the sudden anger or overwhelmed anger? Individual unable to control the impulse and impatient. Typically shout or lash out to someone or something. Then anger can easily comes and goes. May mga taong ganyan. Bigla kang sumigaw. Bigla kang sigawan. Impatient, walang pasensya, automatic agad. Sudden anger. Galit na agad, galit na galit. Through the expression sa pagmumuka or through sa verbal expression. Okay, that's overwhelmed anger. Next, what about this shame-based anger? Or the other term is judgmental anger. Individual hurtfully shame the people around him, expresses his anger by putting others down and belittling their capabilities. May mga ganon ha. Ipahiya mo yung tao. Okay? Around. Kasi ganito, ganyan, ganyan ka. So, that's a shame-based anger. Dinajudge mo yung tao. Okay? Minsan, biniblame mo sila. Nagagalit ka. Okay. Next. What about this deliberate anger? Individual want to gain control over the situation. Individual wants to gain control over the situation. So that's deliberate. Then they use anger to manipulate or bully another individual to comply with their wants. Yan, papasok yan. Papatay mali, but minamanipulate yung iba using that anger. There are situations, siguro na experience nyo, yung they use anger to manipulate or bully other individual to comply with their wants. Maraming mga sitwasyon siguro naranasan natin ganyan. Para mapalabas, manipulate mo lang. Kunwari ba, galit-galit ka. Then sundin ka na lang sa kanila. Sundin mo na lang yan kasi ayaw mo minsan i-avoid ng iba. Pero the intention of that person is just to manipulate. Okay? Then the chronic or habitual anger. Tingnan nito. Being angry in general with themselves. May mga ganon. Galit ka sarili mo. With their life. With others. Or even the world. So ito yung parang pasan-pasan mo ang mundo. Galit ka sa sarili mo. Galit ka sa buhay mo. Okay? That's a chronic or habitual anger. Being angry for no apparent reason or at most of the time. Galit ka lang. That's chronic anger. Okay? What about the effects of this so-called anger? Effects in the physical, emotional, as well as the behavioral. In the physical, it increases the heart rate. Alam natin yan kung galit ka. Emotional naman, the loss of focus or concentration. Wala ka sa passing. Then procrastination naman sa behavioral. Then physical effects is the shortness of breath. Di ba? Kasi galit ka. Then emotional, you'll be depressed or nalulungkot ka. Then behavioral, the disturbance in appetite. Hindi ka na makakain. Okay? Kasi dahil sa epekto sa galit. Then another thing is the sensation of chest tightness. Ang dughan nako. Okay? Sumisikip. So that's physical. Emotional naman, suspicious or mockery. Then sa behavioral, hindi ka nakakatulog. Another thing is shivering or tremors. Kurog ka. Physically. Then emotional, uncaring. Then sa behavioral, self-isolation. May mga taong ganun. Okay? May mga taong galit, doon lang sa kwarto, nagtatago. That's under behavioral effects of anger. Next, ito. Clenched jaw or teeth. Kagot ang ngipon. Under physical. Or yan. Then, the lack of creativity. That's emotional effect. Then, behavioral, very, very aggressive. Then, another thing, effects of anger is headache. Alam natin yan. Galit ka, sakit ulo mo. Then, sa emotional, ayun, talagang galit na galit ka, then the substance, behavioral naman, it will result to ito, addiction sa drugs, alcohol, smoking. Iyon sa mga kalalakihan. Observation, i-observe the community. Or maybe your own community. Away-away si nanay, si tatay, to the point si tatay naglalasing. But that can be behavioral. Umiiwas, umiinom, nag-a-addict, nagsisigarilyo. Kayo, sana naman, tanggalin na itong sigarilyo. You'll be a model because you're a police officer. Pero yung iba, bahala na. Palagi nagsasabi, haram, haram. Kung may sobra pa sa haram na nanigarilyo ka, ikaw yun. Okay? And I think, I have to say this, I am in the authority kasi hindi ako nanigarilyo since pinanganak ako. Pero kaso lang, ako yung unang mamatay dahil sa mga nilalanghap ko sa mga demonyong naninigarilyo. Kuha natin. So that will result under behavioral yan siya. Effect of anger. Okay? Then, ito. Facial flushing. Namumula. Okay, that's physical. Sa emotional, walang nakikita. Then, ganon din sa behavioral, nandoon yung being stubborn. Okay? Stubborn. That's an effect of anger. Okay? Next. Another effects, negative as well as positive. It is positive, your energy increases. Yung sabi natin kanina, grabe yung adrenaline, so grabe. Energy, pas-pas, pagalit ka. Okay? Negative naman, disruption of thinking. Hindi ka na nakapag-isip. Then, sa positive effect naman, enables to communicate feelings. Yes, that's right. Then, sa negative, very defensive pag galit ka. Okay? Sa positive naman, the effects of anger, it can solve problem. There's a possibility. Bakit nagagalit ka? Mag-isip ka. Baka nagka-problema at yung problema, mabibigyan din ng solusyon. Then, sa negative naman, ito yung being aggressive. Then, another effect, under positive, take change of the situation. That's positive thing. Then, dito naman sa negative, self-image or angry person. Ayan. Galit. Now, anger becomes a problem when, take note of this, it becomes a problem when felt too intensely. Intense na intense yan. Then, feel too frequently, kung palagi yan, that can be a problem. Then, express inappropriately through words, gestures, and contact. So, yan. Then, another is, it become a problem, it will result in a negative consequence. Like, for example, sinabi na kanina, the assault, arrest, losing loved ones, termination from work or treatment, yan. That becomes, anger becomes a problem. Then, results also in negative self-concept. Magigilty ka, nahiya ka, minsan magsisisi ka. That's why sinasabi natin, anger becomes a problem when, sabi nga, results in a negative self-concept, guilty ka, nahiya ka, nagsisisi ka. So, according to the study of Leonore in 1977, there is a aggression cycle. Okay? Una, in the escalation phase, it's written there, yan. Yung nakasulat dyan, violence, under that phase. Then, verbal expression, and the rest. So, if it is a cycle, paulit-ulit lang yan. Paulit-ulit lang yan. If it is a cycle. Kaya nga, there is a need really to control or to manage the so-called anger. So now we move on how to manage our anger. Okay, take note kasi ito yung main topic. The first is just a backgrounder. Bakit galit ka? Ano ang galit? But ito ngayon, how to manage that anger. Sana dito matututo tayo. Anger management, it's about understanding your anger, why it happens. Kaya nga, minsan, gamitin ito. Huwag yung umiiral yung palaging init ng ulo. Mag-isip ka. Sabi nga, understanding anger, bakit nangyayari ito? Then it is about learning or practicing better ways of expressing anger and knowing how to prevent it and occurring in the first place. Yan. Isip-isip lang. Then especially, anger management is about knowing the triggers and early warning signs of anger and learning techniques to calm down and manage the situation before it gets out of control. So that's why this is the so-called anger management. It does not involve getting rid of all anger, but using anger to enhance your life. Take note, using anger to enhance your life. Because to be angry, okay, there is also a positive thing, as what we mentioned a while ago. Next, anger management does not involve, sabi natin kanina, or get rid of all anger, but using anger to enhance life. We can look at the purposes of anger in both positive as well as in negative light, in negative aspect. O baka may naidudulit galit ako, if you look at it in a positive or in a negative way, so baka may mapupulot ka, may makukuha ka. But once again, dapat focus more on especially to the positive thing. But if it is negative, that's the thing there in which management papasok. Okay. Next, the positive aspect of anger are that you have to increase energy and are able to communicate your feelings, able to resolve your problems, and can take charge of the situation. So, kayang-kaya mo if it is positive. Ikaw yung may hawak sa sitwasyon. Kasi kaya mo man. Okay. Kahit nagalit ka, pero in a positive aspect, kaya mo, kinaya mo. You're able to manage. Another thing, the negative aspect, take note, the negative aspect of anger, that you can have disruption of your thinking. Disruption of your thinking. Unnecessarily defend yourself, then become aggressive and become known as an angry person. Ayun. Gusto mo ba yun? Na you are known, palaging galit yan, walang ibang galit lang alam sa taong yan. And surely may mga tao ding ganyan. Sana hindi kayo yun. Okay? So that's very negative. Next, anger management would be seen as an increasing in the positive aspect or functions of anger and decreasing negative functions of anger. So, look at what is more positive. Okay? Then, dapat yun yung na-increase in that management. Then, the negative, yun yung dapat i-decrease. That's all about how to manage the so-called anger. Next, there are also importance of this anger management. Okay, take note. The goal of anger management is to reduce both your emotional feelings and the physiological arousal that anger causes. Once again, reduce your emotional feelings and that physiological arousal that anger causes. So yun yung the importance of anger management. Then, you can get rid of or avoid or the things or the people that enrage you, nor you can change them but you can learn to control your reaction. Take note, ha? Learn to control your reaction. That's the importance of anger management. Learn to control your reaction. Okay. When you are angry or upset, remember this. The 1, 2, 3 turtle. Number 1, go inside your shell. Think before you act. Take a time out. You look at the turtle, yung bao, nagtatago yan. Okay? Once again, the 1, 2, 3, kung galit ka, go inside yourself, your shell. Tago ka muna. Mag-isip ka before doing anything. Okay? Take time out. Isip muna ako. Pero in a situation, maisip mo pa kaya yan? Pero sana naman, with this 1, 2, 3 na technique, sana gawin. Sabi nga, huwag magpadalos-dalos. Kasi magpadalos-dalos ka, may problema. Kaya nga, think before you act. Go inside your shell like the turtle. Take a time to time out. Okay. Number 2, 1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath. Ganyan. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Take 3 deep breaths. And why? This is the time to relax. Time to relax. Calm down to yourself. Okay? That's number 2. Then, number 3. Walk away. Think of a good solution. An example of this, ito yung palagi every time I have my lecture, my talk in our church. Isa sa pinakahalimbawa, may ninong dito sa Cotabato City. He is a politician. Nag-aawayan sila sa asawa kasi minsan nagger din yun si wife. Anong ginagawa niya? Tahimik lang siya. Hindi niya kinukontra yung galit sa asawa. Then to the point, yung number 3 ginagawa niya. He walks away. Then after 1, 2, 3 hours, balik yan. Hinay-hinay, lambingan niya si Mrs. To the point, nawala yung galit. Pero kung galit yung isa, nagagalit ka rin, puputok yan. Walang mangyari sa relationship. So that's a tip. So in which we can follow the so-called the 1, 2, 3 turtle. Okay. Another thing. There are steps of management. Take note. Identify personal signals of anger. Ano yun? Bakit nagagalit ako? Ano yung mga signals kaya? Then, identify self-talk techniques. Self-talk. Kausapin mo sarili mo. Okay? Bakit nagagalit ako? May problema kaya ako? Or yung ibang tao may problema? Kung ang ibang tao may problema, mag-isip ka. Anong nakikita niya sa'yo? Then, another step, learn a problem-solving skills. Kaya nga, paano mo ito na-resolve? There are a lot kung paano. That's why later, may mga techniques na ibibigay or the skills. Then, the next steps is learn relaxation skills. Diaphragmatic breathing, progressive relaxation. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, learn the technique, especially the relaxation skills. Kung galit ka. Okay, next. The anger management strategy, the strategy, ito yung malaking tulong. Take note on this. The anger management strategy. So here are a quick guide to control your anger in order of severity. Okay. Take note this strategy. Ginagawa na ninyo ito siguro, but this just another parang a sort of refresher course or review. Okay. First, strategy. Sabi na natin to kanina. Take a deep breath and count till 50. Kanina 3 lang yon, ngayon 50 na. Then, the most common technique to calm down the initial phase of anger. Keep your mouth shut. Take a deep breath and count till 50. 1, 2, hanggang 50 yan. Then after that, ma-relax ka. So that's an strategy. Okay? So that it will not result to crime. It will not result to aggression. Take note, that's number 1. Number 2, drink water. Ito, the usual thing. Galit ka, bigyan ka tubig para ma-relax ka. Para lamig yon dito. Ginagawa natin, di ba? Next, number 3. Think of a person who makes you smile. Ayan. Galit ka. Sino yung mga tao? Think of persons na natutuwa ka, na-smile ka, nakasmile ka. Then the moment you think you are losing your patience, just think that someone who makes you smile happy. Then think of happy moments to divert your mind. Gets natin? Okay? Isip ka. Smile ka. The happy moments, alalahanin mo yon. Then yung galit mo, pwedeng mawala. Okay? That's a strategy. Next, number 4. Ginagawa ba niyo ito? Pag galit kayo, listen to music. Okay. That's a strategy. Take note on that. Next, number 5. Ito yung sabi na natin, self-talk. You have to talk to yourself. That's a strategy. Even after trying the above things, if your anger does not subside, try talking to yourself. Go to the bathroom and vent out all your anger. I remember one of my superior, when I was in the seminary, gagalit yan sa amin ng mga brothers. Kung galit na galit yan, pupunta yan sa kanyang kwarto. Sisigaw yan. Then, medyo violente yun, pero at least sabi niya, ako lang. Meron siyang panchimbag doon sa kwarto. Pare ito panchimbag sa kwarto. Then after that, na-release niya. Na-release. Then, lalabas yan sa kwarto. Tawag. You know, Brother Joas, galit ako sa'yo. Kasi ganito yon. So, anong ginawa niya? Kinausap sarili ng una-una, nirelease niya doon, may panchimbag siya sa loob. Paglabas, sinaktan ako, wala. Kasi na-relax siya. So that's a strategy. Nadepende yan sa tao. Okay? Pag wala yon, siguro automatic yan. Pero at least alam niya, nag-isip muna siya. Remember the 1, 2, 3 turtle? Hide muna. Think before you act. Galit yan siya, pasok siya sa kwarto, buhos siya, sigaw siya, may panjibag siya doon, bago action doon sa kung kanino siya galit. So that's a strategy. Okay? Pero hindi naman ginagawa yun lahat ng mga tao. Kanya-kanya kayang style. Kanya-kayang strategy yan. How to manage anger. Next, read. Makaya kaya ninyo? Anyway, this is a tip. This is a strategy. Try reading the newspaper, the magazine, online articles, anything to keep you occupied. I don't know, magbasa o chat-chat na lang, cellphone na lang. Para ma-preoccupied yung mind mo. Minsan yung galit mo makalimutan mo. Okay? Then, till the time you are angry, it is advisable to keep yourself engaged. So, yan. Next, number 7. Ito. Make an anthem. Being stupid is a way better than being angry. Ayan. Di ba minsan tayo galit tayo, ibuhos na lang natin doon sa awit. Huwag mong pansinin ang naninira sa'yo. Ibuhos mo. Take an anthem. Sabi nga, being stupid is a way better than being angry. Abala na, basta na-release mo yung anger mo through singing. Sana naintindihan ninyo yan. Next, number 8 strategy. Play Angry Birds. Ayan. Nauso ito dati. Yung laro na ito. Angry Bird. Ibig sabihin, you have to distract yourself. Release your anger or on virtual entity. Ayan, laro ka na lang. Angry Bird. Nauso yan noon. Pero ngayon, hindi naman Angry Bird, no? Mobile Legend and the rest of the game. Kaya nga minsan, yung iba, kahit na with your age, kahit na professional, one time nga, bayad ako doon sa Colite, naglinya man. Yung isang, I think professional na, halos hindi mabitawan, sige laro, ay ito, Mobile Legend laro, or basta gira-gira yun. Tapos, minsan, hindi siya makamove. Yung sunod sa akin, sir, sabihan mo yan, oh, tanda-tanda na, naglaro pa rin. Kita natin, baka may galit yun, may problema sa doon lang, binuhos doon. So yan, play Angry Birds. That's a strategy. Okay? Next. Ito. Ayan na nakasulat. Number 9. Stay. Ano yan? Shut up. When things get out of control, just step out. Step out. Okay? Step out. Go for a walk. You need fresh air to think and relax. You need some time alone. Kung galit ka. Sabi nga sa number 3, 1, 2, 3 sa turtle, walk away. Mag-isip ka. Think before you act. So ito yung another strategy. Step out. Alis ka muna. Okay? Kasi pag noon, if you are there in the situation, hindi ka alis, baka makapanakit ka pa. Pag ikaw kusang umalis, ayun, the anger, makapag-isip ka man. Sabi nga, you need fresh air than to think and relax. Next, number 10 strategy. Ito. I think na trending ito ngayon, nauso ito ngayon. Practice yoga. But yoga, this is just an exercise or a transcendental meditation. Ganyan lang. Inhale, exhale. Then, there are also exercise sa yoga. Nasubukan ko na rin ito when I was in the formation, I was in the seminary. At malaking tulong. You'll able to release the negative energies. Then, relax your mind. Kaya nga itong yoga, wala naman yatang doktrina na nasisira. Yung turo natin, whether you are Muslim, you are Christian, wala naman kasi this is just an exercise. Okay? Then, as a long-term solution, sabi nga daw, practice meditation. And I think all of us, whatever is our religion, nag-meditate tayo. Okay? Nagnilay tayo. So, it is the best way to control your emotion. Kaya nga, with this, when you meditate, of course, papasok yung the power of God. And of course, you'll be able to interact with your Creator. And with that, you have peace of mind. Kahit nagalit ka, na-relax ka. So that's an advantage. And that's a strategy. I hope you learn something. And finally, control your anger before it controls you. Control your anger before it controls you. Kasi, sinasabi nga, anger is one letter short of danger. Once again, before anger will control you, dapat unahan mo na. Because anger is one letter short of danger. And with that, I would say thank you. Then for your, may gagawin kayo may gagawin kayo. I think 2 pages, 2 pages. You have to write your own experience when you experience the so-called anger. Then, how were you able to manage that anger? So this is very experiential. So more on reflection paper. But 2 pages is my requirement if you want to pass this subject. I think naintindihan na, write a 2 pages, okay, experience or a reflection based from your experience nung nagalit ka. Then, how were you able to manage that so-called anger? Oh, yes, yung anger. Yung hungry ka, nung angry ka. Nakuha, malinaw ito? Okay? Anyway, kahit na isang libro siya, makaya ninyo yan. If you focus your experience kung paano. Different, we have a lot of experience, pero magkaiba yung experience natin. But once again, your experience. Okay? So, malinaw yan. And with that, though this is virtual, hindi tayo magkita-kita because of the pandemic, what is important, and I hope may naibigay sa ako sa inyo na mga tips how to manage the so-called anger. Okay? So, once again, thank you very much. God bless you all. Then remember, a winner never quits. A winner never quits. God bless. Dalaygon ang Diyos.